Okay, last example. Example 5 for inverse trig expressions. I'm going to find the secant of the inverse secant of 1. So I got to do inside the parentheses first. So in this case, we're going to do the inverse function first. So what I want to get out here, that inverse secant of 1 represents an angle. So I want to look at the unit circle, and I want to find on the unit circle where secant is 1. Now the only place that could occur is when cosine is 1, because cosine and secant are reciprocals. So I need to find on the unit circle where cosine is 1 and find that angle. And we have to make sure that we're looking at that range, because we restricted the secant function, which means our range is going to be restricted. And for secant, we're looking at quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. However, we're going to skip pi over 2, because at pi over 2, the inverse secant is undefined. We have an asymptote there. So I want to find someplace in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2 where cosine is 1, because the secant would be the reciprocal, which would also be 1. And the only place that would happen would be at 0. So I'm going to then replace inverse secant 1 with 0. And then I'm going to find the secant of 0. And the secant of 0 would be the reciprocal of cosine 0, which would be 1. So my final answer would be 1.